Good morning once again. Good morning. This is Al. I live in upstate New York and I cook the same breakfast every single day. I cook the same breakfast every day and I Periscope my preparation of my breakfast so that I can learn how to become more proficient in using Periscope. I, like many of you, believe that Periscope, or I'm hopeful that Periscope is going to become a big thing. And it'll be a useful thing to know how to use and how to communicate with people, how to project your personality, how to project what you're selling, if you're selling something, what you're preaching, all of that. So in order for me to get better at this, and being a person who lacks imagination, I'm utterly clueless as to how else to do this, I've resorted to just scoping my breakfast. Okay, so this is why I'm doing it. And believe it or not, I used to be a lot worse. So I'm getting better. It is working. It used to be a lot worse. So I'm going to be telling you a little bit about myself and where I live as I go along. But mainly, I'm going to be cooking breakfast, which is an elaborate version of bacon. Not bacon. Listen to me. Sausage and egg. Sausage and egg. Do I have an egg out? I do. So I hope I lay out all my ingredients, and I'm going to move the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. It's an elaborate version of sausage and egg made in this special glass. I always talk about the special glass because I have a thing about vessels. I don't like to throw away glasses or any kind of container that's in any way unique. This is a glass that I found in a bar in the mid-70s in New York City, in the World Trade Center. Yes, that World Trade Center, the one that's not there anymore. When I first started working for New York State, the building was under construction still, and the bar and restaurant in the basement was called Eat and Drink. It was a great place, great concept. And at their bar, they used these glasses. I liked the glasses enough to try to find them, and I did find them. Bought a bunch of them. And now I use this to prepare my egg concoction and then to eat out of. And if I just remember, I'm going to ask you for ideas for a name for my dish, my sausage and egg dish. And this is part of the deal. If I ever sold this in a restaurant, I'd serve the concoction, for lack of a better name, I'd serve the concoction in this glass. Now we get started. Can you see my pot? There it is. Let me just move it a little bit over there. Okay, now what I'm going to try to do is pay more attention to the screen than I have been. Hey, I have 5 people who are showing up as a number on the bottom. I could have more. I have discovered that very often there's more people watching than Periscope lets on. 1 jumbo egg. If I didn't have a jumbo egg, I'd use 2 large eggs. I told you about the sausage, but you know what? I didn't put it in the pot. That would be a mistake. I put in 2 Giganelli sausages. I say Giganelli because they're very good breakfast links. The company has a great reputation. The ingredients are pure, so to speak, fairly lean. I make it in a Calphalon non-stick pot because it's a great pot. It's truly non-stick, even for eggs. Now, if I didn't want to make sausages, sometimes I'll switch off and I'll use ground turkey. Now, it may sound revolting. It's delicious. It's delicious. And I buy this. It's very inexpensive. I buy it at Aldi, which is kind of a warehouse discount grocery store. It's a European chain. If you're watching from Europe, I think you may know about Aldi and their other companies. Now, this is an elaborate version of eggs and sausage. Sausage is started. I'm going to put a lot of ingredients in here that are for health benefits. Health benefits. Some ingredients are going to be for taste only. None of these are bad for me. And some of them, I believe, the ingredients are good for me. Now, a lot of people believe, including myself, that tomatoes are good for you, good as part of your daily diet. So here's my daily dose of tomatoes in the form of tomato sauce, commercial tomato sauce. Got that covered. Here are 3 specifically healthy ingredients. One is ground pepper. Pepper has health benefits. You can look it up. There are many claims are made for pepper. Pepper also makes the next two ingredients even more efficacious or effective. This is turmeric. Turmeric, purportedly, and there's evidence for it, helps with circulation, helps prevent circulation problems like stroke and heart attack. Populations that, like Indian populations, East Indian populations that have turmeric in their diet have lower incidence of stroke and heart attack. Cinnamon, same thing. Cinnamon and or turmeric in the presence of pepper works even better. Tiger sauce, I assume, contains so many of the same chemicals as pepper. But I use it because of the story behind the company, which I read in the magazine. It's a very inspiring American success story, an immigrant success story, the family that makes this. So after I read the article, I decided to try to support the company. Okay, as usual, I haven't put everything out that I should have. This is Worcestershire sauce. I like Lee and Perrin's Worcestershire sauce on my steak, but in my eggs I like a milder store brand, like this is Hannaford. Hannaford is a supermarket chain in this area. This area being upstate New York, north of Albany, a short distance, near Troy, Schenectady, and Saratoga Springs. Balsamic vinegar adds sweetness. By using balsamic vinegar now, I'm going to wind up adding less ketchup later on for sweetness. Heavy cream. This is just because I like the taste and I like the way it makes it look. This is I'm on a low carb diet. I should have told you. Let me chill a second here. I'm on a low carb diet, and I have been for many years. The low carb diet likes heavy cream. Why? Hey, Kerman, Lou, 310. I'm making my breakfast a low carb breakfast that I make every day that has health benefits as well as being low carb. I don't eat anything else, by the way, for breakfast. This is it. So it helps you with calorie control. Let's see, 10 people are there. That's great. That is really great. I'm going to keep on going, and I'm going to try to remember to look back at the screen from time to time. All right, the sausages. I'm going to get a little bit of help from some wine. This is a rosé or a blush-colored wine. Not very sweet. I think this is white Merlot. I often use white Zinfandel. I cook with wine a lot. Everybody knows wine is good for you. So I use it in my cooking, and it helps keep everything kind of blended together. You know, the crud. Can you say crud about food? Well, the food that kind of congeals together on the sausage comes liquefied by the wine, and the steam will help the sausage cook faster. All right, I am ready to beat up my egg. Beating up the egg sounds violent. What is the word? Well, you beat an egg. It's a beaten egg. Try to beat it very well so that there's no egg white left that can be seen in the finished product. You shouldn't call it a product. You should call it a dish. In the finished dish that has no name yet. Anybody have any ideas for a name? Hey, Air Tree joined. Auto Tree. I'm sorry, I can't read my screen too well. Welcome. I'm making scrambled eggs and sausage, low carb, with extra ingredients that I believe are healthy for me. All right, we've got the sausage is moving along nicely. I just need to, cut this up because it's not, the eggs, the links don't stay links. The links become disencased. Disencased, which is my word for getting the meat out of the casing and swishing it up, spreading it around. When I have a fork full of my concoction, my dish in a glass, I want to have some meat in there as well. So it's all kind of mixed together. Break this up best I can. Okay. And I'm going to add, guess what I'm going to add to it? You know, I'm going to add a little bit more wine to it. And you know, the alcohol evaporates. This is not a way of getting a buzz in the morning. This is just a way of cooking. The steam from the liquid, from the wine, makes the meat cook a lot faster. Let's see, did I forget anything yet? Not yet. Okay. I'm going to add a couple more ingredients in a couple of minutes. I have to get one of them out. I told you I like a little bit of sweetness. There'll be a little bit of ketchup added later, but not as much ketchup as I would be adding if I didn't have any of that balsamic vinegar. Okay. Just a little more breaking up. I see a couple of large pieces there. So there's no pink left in this. There's no pink. Can you see? There's no pink in there. Here we go. Okay, so now I've done my thing with the egg. Okay, I don't think any egg whites are going to show. I'm going to pour it in. I used to say dump it in, but you know, dumping things into a pot, that's not a good food word. At least not in this country. So I pour it in. Okay, now, very important, wash the glass. Wash the glass so I can use the same glass. I mean, I don't have to use the same glass, but I like to use a glass of this type to eat it out of. Okay, so don't forget, if you are going to suggest a name for this dish, try to work the glass into it. The best suggestion I have so far, and honestly the only suggestion I have so far, is Mega Egga with 2 G's and 2 G's. Hey, May Baki joined. Okay, thank you. I'm making my breakfast, the same breakfast I make every day. Now, I call this a surprise edition because I said yesterday I would not be doing this today because I said I'd be going out with my work buddies for breakfast. I was wrong. The plan wasn't to go out for breakfast. The plan was to go out for drinks in the afternoon. So that's what I'll be doing later. And maybe it's possible. It's just possible. Maybe I'll be able to scope that or something from that. We'll be at a local bar in it's a wings place in upstate New York. Okay, now push this back over to here. This is just about done. I have not told you. Well, this is a healthy, this smart balance. It's like an artificial butter or margarine. It makes incredible claims for controlling cholesterol. And I take a statin medication for cholesterol. I forgot, because of all my talking, I forgot to add this to my egg. I usually do this right after I pour the liquid in here. That's okay. Turned it off. So I have a little bit of the smart balance. That's what it looks like. I want to live forever. I want to live fully functional. I'm 66 now. I want to live fully functional until at least age 85. That's my plan, my hope. This is how I plan to help myself get there, by having decent food. I gotta lose some weight too. I've been cheating on my low carb diet, obviously. But I don't cheat until late in the day. I'm pretty good right up until late afternoon. Then things start to get a little bit less controlled. I live in upstate New York. I told you I'm about 180 miles north of New York City, about 200 miles west of Boston, about 200 miles south of Montreal, a few hundred miles more than that east of Buffalo. Chicago was a long day's drive. The DC Beltway is about a 6-hour drive. And now, hey, door, close this. Hope you don't see that. It's going to rain soon. Okay, before I eat this, ketchup is full of, well, yes, ketchup's full of sugar, but I don't put a lot in. What I did was I put a little bit of balsamic vinegar in, which also has sugar, but I think it's a very concentrated sugar in here that's a little bit sweeter. I don't know. Listen, I say I'm low carb, not zero carb. I gotta like it. If I don't like it, I'm not gonna eat it. Hey, thanks for all those hearts. Whoever's doing that, those green hearts, oh man, you have no idea how good that is to see the hearts. I should give people more hearts when I watch. Hey, whoever you are, hey, back. 9 people watching and all these hearts? Oh my God, my count's gonna go through the roof. But I like where I live. I like living. I used to live in Brooklyn, upstate in the city. Used to have a professional type job with the state of New York. I retired after 30 years. So I started in 1974 when the World Trade Center was being built. We were among the first tenants. And gee, I was on my way to a meeting right around the corner, right down the street from the World Trade Center on 9/11. I mean, it was very close to the Trade Center. And well, all that happened while I was on the train on my way down to the city. That's a story in itself. Now the Trade Center was gone, but people like me have the memory of the Trade Center. And oh, it was a great place to work. All right, enough of that. So pay attention. I'm going to taste this, and I'm going to tell you it tastes good, and see how credible I am, if you can tell. Fucking man. Haley and Lara, well, thank you for coming. Unfortunately, I'm almost finished. I've made my daily breakfast, my daily low-carb health breakfast, for which I'm looking for a name. It's an elaborate sausage and scrambled egg with a lot of other good stuff in it. Hey, D. Garrett 90, hello, bye, thanks for coming. Hi, what will you, what? Hey, hi, what will you talk about? Well, actually, not much. I usually close after I do this. I have this. What could I possibly talk about? Well, you know what? I bet this is, by the way, this is really good. I like it. Have you noticed weight difference in low carb? All right, that's good to talk about. I started doing low carb many years ago when there was an article written in the New York Times Magazine that said that the Atkins diet was not a crazy thing to do, that it actually worked, and that it actually wouldn't kill you. So I was a pasta addict, Italian. I had Italian-born parents. Always had Italian food in the house. Always cooked pasta. Always had leftover pasta in the refrigerator. After dinner, I get hungry again because I've had pasta during the dinner, or rice, things like that with sauce. Get hungry because you crash. You have a crash after you had all those carbs. Have more pasta, and I was basically just constantly eating pasta, and an hour later getting hungry again. And I realized that the only way out for me was to cut out the pasta, which was difficult, but I did it. And I did lose a lot of weight when I first went on the low carb diet. I lost a lot of weight. It was hard to give up those foods, but I did it. I had the satisfaction of slimming down. Then I got lazy, and I started cheating more and more often. So now I have to get back to either being seriously low carb, finding another diet, which I don't think I can do because I become so sensitive to carbs. A small amount of carbs has an effect on me, but it also puts me to sleep. So I kind of have to get back to low carb and match up my exercise. That's another thing I'm going to do is, by doing this broadcast every day, I'm going to Colorado tomorrow for a week. When I come back, I'm going to weigh myself during this broadcast and put myself on notice, kind of in front of whoever's watching, that I'm going to lose the weight. And I'm going to track that weight during my broadcast. Hey, Annie Lunchable, welcome. So that's what I'm going to do. So the low carb thing works if you stick to it. I'm going to get back to it. This is really good. You know, you can just start out with an egg, your favorite meat, and just make it elaborate. Throw in whatever ingredients you think would ring your bell. I didn't start out that way. I started out by putting in ingredients that I thought were good for me, and it turns out they taste good. Somebody once said that the idea of tomato sauce and the eggs was revolting. I could see how you could find it revolting, but it actually, if you try it, you might like it. You might like it. Okay, I have things I have to do, so I'm going to thank you, and I'm going to say goodbye for now. Thank you.